If there was a soundtrack to underscore the Real Housewives of Atlanta this last episode, Waiting to Exhale would definitely be that soundtrack. Because this was a very, very intimate episode. Or better yet, give me a little Stephanie Mills. I need the comfort of a man. It was real intimate bass light. Y'all want to talk about it? Here you go. Nelson, girl, did you get into last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta? Though this episode wasn't chock full of drama, it was very intimate and just left me feeling all fuzzy and warm, waiting on Tony to come right here and touch me on the inside part and call my name. Call my name. That's a little Prince, baby. Call it. Child, he could call me Susan. Whitney said her name ain't Susan, but bitch, this quarantine got me so backed up and young and ready over here. That man could call me anything but a bitch. Nevertheless, let's just jump right on into this episode. The episode opens up with Nene talking to Greg about the Greece trip. Now, here is one thing that conversation with Nene and Greg made me realize. People have an uncanny way of telling the story the way they want it to be received. In addition to, people always want to run and talk to their spouse that was not present about the situation, because the spouse by default is going to side with them. Nene did not paint the full picture of how bad her ass acted in Greece, and Greg just sitting there being her peanut gallery and egging her on. I'm single. I guess that's what it means to be married, that you just have to sit there and hype up your person and blindly support them in their bullshit. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it, because y'all ain't finna read me in the comments talk about I don't understand because I'm not married, and y'all asking some horrible ass, dumb ass, about to send you to jail ass marriages, but I'm the one with the problem. Nevertheless, I'm going to move the fuck on. And speaking of problems, Kandi and Todd doing the sex scene. Now, when it comes to Kandi and Todd with this sex scene, are you team Kandi or team Todd? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more team Kandi. It's fake. Like, and I would feel, and I get what Todd is saying about no man wants to see his woman in that capacity. And I would imagine no woman would want to see her man in that capacity. I would just think that Todd would be slightly more flexible creatively, because he's somebody who works in television and film and production, and he gets it. Now, I am glad that Todd gave her the license to go in and let have, because he was like, listen, yeah, I'm uncomfortable, but I'll get over it. You can't be whack, so go ahead and do what it is you got to do. Now, what I found was a little troubling. The way I decoded that conversation that Kandi and Todd was having was like, okay, I'm finna work. I'm gonna fly home the day the lady had a baby. Then 2 days after she had a baby, we'll all get on a tour bus and go to Chicago, and I'm gonna have my newborn, you know, and do the show and come back and play with the baby. That feels like a lot. On the flip side of things, y'all know black folks, we quick to say that baby need to stay home for X amount of weeks, and I'm like, well, shit. That's kind of not motherly either if she finishes out her contract in Chicago while Todd at home with the baby and Mama Joyce. I feel very bad for Kandi in this situation, because she's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You hear so many women talk about, you know, after they become empty nesters, how they sacrifice their life for their children, and they had so many unfulfilled dreams. So they're damned in that capacity. And then you've got women like Kandi who are trying to fulfill her dreams and take care of her family, and she's damned in that capacity. I will say this, towards the end of that episode, when Kandi got home and Todd was talking to her about how when she gets home, she books up every hour of her time. You know, I perceive that to be Todd saying you prioritize everybody above your family. And here's the thing. Sometimes we take for granted the people we love the most. We take them for granted because by default we know that they're always going to be there. From Todd's perspective, I was listening to Kandi, and quiet as it's kept, you got to make a choice. Who do you want to disappoint? Todd or Dr. Jackie? Todd or Porsha? And to be honest with you, the right answer is you disappoint Porsha and you disappoint Dr. Jackie. But because Todd is your husband and you know he's going to always be there, subconsciously you like, I'm going to go do this over here with Dr. Jackie and Porsha and I'll smooth this over later. And as far as it concerns Kandi going to the Rock Nation brunch, talking about it's a great way for her to network with women in the business. Kandi, you are the woman and the business. There's not a one woman in the business that you don't have access to. Kandi, you are like the pinnacle of women in music business right now. So I'm really not understanding what return on investment that you would have gotten from participating in the Rock Nation brunch. Now, if it was me and I had to choose between the Dr. Jackie event, the Porsha event, and the Rock Nation event, I definitely would have done the Rock Nation event. That one feels like it would have yielded the most return. Porsha and Dr. Jackie could have got, in lieu of your presence, they could have got a wreath. You could have called down there to Willie Watkins and got one of them old wreaths that Phaedra left from one of them dog fumes she died there doing, and took the card off, wrote, sorry I couldn't be there, from Kandi, and sent that shit over to March of Dimes. And then, and quiet as it's kept, you didn't even speak at the March of Dimes. You carried your ass down there and didn't even contribute nothing to the damn story. We got the most tea and sympathy and compassion out of Marlo. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Moving right along. You know, work-life balance is hard, and I get it. And I get what it feels like to have business obligations. And Kandi is so used to being in this work mode. It runs through her veins. It almost comes second nature for her to be working, and the family and stuff is secondary because she's such a go-getter, and I get it. But to Todd's credit, she really gonna have to focus on that work-life balance harder to make this thing work. Bitch, you saw Unsung, Betty Wright Unsung last night. A clean-up woman is a woman who takes all the love we girls leave behind. Come on, Nessa. The reason I know so much about her is because she picked up a man of mine. I'm gonna give y'all some more, and I know y'all hate it. Talking slick, dun-dun-dun, what's my ruin? But I found out all I was doing was making it easy for the clean-up woman, it seemed. Y'all be hating when I sing, fuck y'all. This is my channel, and if you don't like it, turn the goddamn page. Moving right along. There was I ain't gonna do y'all like that. Lady sitting under a tree. She called me over and said, go to Nene. Cynthia and Nene are at Swag. I almost said Press. They at Swag. They both showed up with Leopard. Now, anybody that know me know I love Leopard. Y'all done read me in the comments talking about, I'm so tired of him wearing that Leopard shirt. Little do y'all know I got 4 of them. I got 2 long sleeve, 2 short sleeve, and all 4 of them made of different materials, bitches. So when you see me wearing Leopard, I'm wearing Leopard from different countries. I'm wearing American Leopard, Serengeti Leopard, Italian Leopard, and Chinese Leopard, bitch. And now Wuhan Market Leopard. Real Chinese, real Animal Kingdom like, real Lion King like, real Tiger King like, okay? Classy Leopard. Nevertheless, they had their Leopard on, and Porsha came and invited them to the March of Dimes thing. Now, you know, I got happy when I seen Nene and Cynthia talking and doing their girlfriend thing, but you know, historically, I learned not to get my hopes up too goddamn high, because that shit ain't gonna last. In the words of Marvin Sapp, it won't work. I'm only gonna give y'all, will y'all feel better if I just give y'all one line? Cause like y'all can't like make me give up singing. I would give up my whole life. I would give up the Funky Bunch. I give up my apartment on the water. I would give up my whole life just to be able to stand on a microphone in front of a stage and just sing the girls down. I wouldn't even have to make no money. Singing is my favorite thing to do, Okay, and you can't tell me it ain't about what come out your mouth. It's about what's in your heart. And I am a singer in my heart, down to the bottom of my soul. It's in my bone marrow. Okay, it's in my bone marrow. La 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 la. I was about to give y'all the rest, but I don't want y'all to run me up out of here. So Porsha talks about at the March of Dimes. You know what's funny? And I don't know if it's from her affiliation with the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Porsha and what she gave at the beginning of her tenure at the Real Housewives of Atlanta was never very smart and articulate. And not saying that she's dumb. That's just not what she gave. Her character was very ditzy, aloof, or whatever the case may be. The way Porsha stood up and commanded that room and spoke in front of that group of women, I was really taken aback and impressed. But I want to tell you, the Did That Award goes to Marlo Hampton. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This is one time, in all honesty, that I'm not going to shade Marlo and I'm not going to crack no jokes. I think Marlo needs to fight harder for her to get some real camera time of substance. I actually connected with Marlo during this March of Dimes scene, despite the fact that I'm not a woman, nor have I ever aspired to have children or be pregnant or anything to that magnitude, because it was authentic and it was real, and we got to see something about Marlo that was beyond materialistic shit, fashions and money and dating. We got to see her heart. You know, that she experienced 2 ectopic pregnancies, and I'm so sorry to hear that, especially because it sounded like Marlo wanted to have children at some point or another. And even when earlier in the season, when she got custody of her nephews, we got to see some of her real life, thus making her this real person and not just a mannequin in front of Neiman Marcus. Because up until this point, that's what Marlo has been. She's been a walking advertisement for Saks, Neiman Marcus, and for all the reads. She was for all the reads. She just was. But it felt really good to say, wow, beneath all the fashions and all the materialism, there is a real person there with a real story. I'm ready to see Marlo's real story. I've called her a one-trick pony for years. And I don't know if that's because she puts that foot forward or that's the only light production chooses to show her in. But I say we petition to see Marlo's real story. It's time that y'all give Marlo a peach, or at least, and fuck the peach, because the peach is symbolic of a bunch of nothingness. It's just time that y'all give this woman a real storyline and stop letting her just be the messy ass friend on the side, because I really feel like she does have something of value to contribute. And when she was saying there was some things that happened to her early in life, is it me, or did it feel like she was finna head down to some sexual trauma type stuff that may have damaged her reproductive system? I don't know. That's what I felt. Or maybe she could have just been talking about the ectopic pregnancies. Nonetheless, I would like to know in detail what it is she was talking about and hear a little more about her story. That way we can figure out what transpired in her life that made her the woman that she is today. I think that that would be very interesting and deserves a couple episodes or a season in itself. I skipped over Kenya goes to talk to her lawyer. Now, Kenya goes to talk to her lawyer, and Kenya always finds a way to sneak a little shade in about somebody. She went and talked to her lawyer, and her lawyer was talking about protecting her assets, and she was saying that she makes more and has more than Mark. But it's been floating around Google, and a simple Google search says that Mark is worth $35 million and Kenya is worth $2 million. Now, at the very end of the day, I don't know how Google or Celebrity Net Worth get all these people's information. From talking to several of my celebrity friends, they've always said it is slightly off. I'm sure there's some science to their estimations and guesstimations. And with that being said, although the numbers may be accurate, the disparity may be factual. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to say he 35 and she 2. Okay, he might be 30 and she might be 5. But I'm sure there's still a fairly reasonable gap in between them two. So for Kenya to say she makes more, I mean, she's probably, I mean, at the point she probably is bringing in more. Mark's stuff is probably tied up in buildings and FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment for my accounting people out there. That's FF&E. I don't know, but it just feels a little funky that she trying to go on this train of he ain't got nothing and I need to protect my stuff from him. Kenya don't strike me as a type that would have married no broke nigga or whatever. And I feel like whatever Kenya got, Mark got too, or whatever. But I do support and respect the fact that Kenya is at least protecting Brooklyn and making sure, since she doesn't trust Mark, that her money is tied up in the trust and that Lisa will be the one to execute the trust. And moving right along, her conversation with Lisa, Kenya was in the dark about a lot of things. When she revealed the fact that she wasn't allowed to talk to his mother and father, is it me? Or I wouldn't have even married the motherfucker had I not had an opportunity to fold myself into his family. I looked at that situation and instead of going in on Kenya, y'all, I just shook my head and said, God, I don't ever want to be that desperate for anything, that broken emotionally, that I willfully and ignorantly enter into a relationship of this type. Kenya subscribed to the dream of the child, the husband, the house, the white picket fence so tightly and so closely that she sacrificed herself and her well-being time and time and time again to obtain it. And then once she obtained it, she realized the shit wasn't cracked up to be what people sold it to her to be. You played the fool for Walter. You played a damn fool for Matt. And you played a goddamn silly fool for Mark. And that brings us to our next musical interlude. Silly of me to think that I would ever have him for my guy. That's all I'm gonna give y'all. Nevertheless, my friend Katrina Hughes asked me yesterday, she said, do you plan out them songs when you be singing in them videos? She was like, because they just, or she said, do you just be feeling it? And I said, listen, one unique thing about the way my brain works and one thing that other people will never be able to duplicate and what sets me apart from a lot of other people is while I'm sitting here freestyling talking to y'all, I can hear one word and that one word gets the jukebox in my mind rolling, and the next thing out of my mouth is not only the song that has that word, but the part of that song that is directly applicable to what it is I am talking about. Let me tell y'all something. If that's not a divine gift from God, I don't know what is. Do Jesus. Thank you, Lord, because he gives us all what we need to make it great in this life, and he gave me my mind. There's a lot of things about me that's bad, but bitch, my mind ain't never been one of them. Nevertheless, I don't ever want my mind and my heart to be that bad that I get in a badass relationship like that thing she got in with Mark. And Lisa looked like a good, dignified woman. Yes, God, Lisa gonna take very good care of Brooklyn. Then we move on to the last thing which we talked about was Kandi booking out her time and from Todd's perspective. I already went in on that and told y'all how I felt about it. The Real Housewives of Atlanta, this was a very, 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 very intimate episode. Ow! Shamia saying that she called Kenya when she had when her water broke, that was a bit surprising to us. But I want to tell y'all, just like that scene revealed a lot about Marlo, I've been in the company of Shamia several times. Great girl, always loved her energy. And I'm going to say this. Shamia is much like me, where she connects with the genuine energy. And for her to have connected with Kenya and felt comfortable enough to call Kenya in that situation, it suggests that there is a real person up under all those layers that make up Kenya Moore. And Porsha was taken aback. We all are. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't think Kenya is a bad person. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's a such thing as a bad person. I don't think anyone is born inherently bad. I think bad things happen to people that make them act a certain way. And I think when you know somebody's full story, then it makes it all make sense. See, with Kenya right now, we see a lot of her antics and we're just like, oh child, oh child. But there's a missing piece to this puzzle that makes Kenya Moore and Nene Leakes for that matter, makes their personalities and the things that they do, makes it all make sense. But I will say, Shamia vouching for Kenya in that manner and saying she called Kenya in that time of need did soften me to Kenya and say, wow, you know, there is a good, reliable woman up under that is capable of being friends with women. It's just certain kind of women. And maybe Kenya is better off being friends with women who are not in direct line of competition with her. I don't know. We're going to have to explore that later. But that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I'm going to get in here and call y'all about some other things. I got some other celebrity interviews that I'm setting up that you guys are going to love. In particular, I can't tell you about the one I'm going to do next real quick. Y'all can probably guess. It's from the Love and Hip Hop Miami. We finna set that thing up as soon as this reunion airs. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will call y'all hoes later. Bye.